Test 1, 2. Good evening. The meeting of the Revere Board of Appeals will now come to order. I ask you to stand and please salute the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call of the members of the Zoning Board of Appeals. Mr. Lemonna? Here. Mr. Lopes? Here. Mr. Pelton? Here. Mr. O'Brien? Here. And Chairman Tucker?
Here.
Here. Quorum is present. First application on the agenda is Evergreen Property Solutions, LLC, 80 Piers Park Lane, Boston, Mass., requesting a variance of Section 17-28020, minimum parking requirements, to enable the appellant to convert the existing single-family dwelling to a two-family dwelling at 57 Stevens Street.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, happy holidays. Joseph Cottogio, 1 Sprague Street, Revere, representing the applicant. Evergreen Property Solutions, LLC. This is a continuance from the previous meeting. We had submitted a plan, a revised plan, following the last meeting at the request of the board. That plan, revised plan, shows the implementation of 3 parking spaces, 2 already existing, 1 proposed for the front yard, which I'll go over in a second. I know that there was some confusion as to the plans that were in your packet. If anybody needs one, I do have 1 spare to confirm that it is 3 parking spaces. Despite the fact that the applicant is an LLC, this is intended to be an owner-occupied property. My apologies, I thought I had that shut down. With the application, we are in need to convert legally to a 2-family property. We'd be required to have 4 spaces. We are proposing 3 and a variance for 1. The space that we are proposing has been placed in the area that would least burden the variance requirement. In other words, the city does not prefer parking in front of structures. We have placed this to the furthest right of the property line to encumber where what is already a 5.5-foot paved area that was formerly used for a handicapped walkway, so that the section that will be actually in front of the house is only 3.5 feet and not the full 9 feet. It has a full 18-foot setback, so we comply with the depth of the space as well. The unit that we're proposing will have 1 bedroom. It will not increase the full number of bedrooms that are already exist in the property. The assessor shows this as a 4-bedroom house. We will maintain it as a 4-bedroom with 1 of the bedrooms, the existing bedrooms, being transferred to the unit. So we would assume that the additional unit would normally require just 1 parking space, and therefore the 1-car variance won't further burden the neighborhood. The structure itself will not be expanded in any way. All work will be interior, and all work will be done in compliance with the Board of Health regulations and the building department regulations. So we will work with them to make sure that everything is to code. We know that the area is zoned for 2 families. There are a number of 2 families in the area. We don't believe that this will burden in any way the existing neighborhood. We know that it is in compliance with the intent of the zoning ordinances, and we would request that the board see that as well. We have reached out to the ward councilor. It was our understanding that he was going to contact the board and present his position. I won't speak for him, but hopefully he has done that. We have also sent this new plan along to the abutters and participants who were here at the last meeting to show that we have no parking in the rear yard, which was a concern, that there is none proposed, and that the 1 space that we are proposing is, again, to the extreme right of the property to limit any burden on the area or on the street. We are here to answer any questions, and hopefully you can see that this, again, is in compliance with the intent of the zoning ordinances, that it allows the property owner to obtain the highest and best use, which is, would otherwise be allowable in the RB district.
Thank you. Seeing that this is a public hearing, I'll ask if there's any proponents. Anyone in favor? Hearing and seeing none, I'll close that side of the hearing. And if you could read Richard Serino's letter into the file.
So this letter is from Councilor Serino in support of Evergreen Property Solutions revised plan. I'd been in opposition to the previous plan, which sought to include parking in the rear of the parcel. I also had reservations that the applicant would be seeking to add onto the existing structure. However, given the revised plan in which the applicant can fit 3 vehicles on the property and only seeks relief for 1 parking space, it could be argued that in the unlikely event a 4th vehicle is associated with the home, that 4th vehicle would park on the street in front of said home at 57 Stevens Street. Additionally, there will be no major modification to the home, such as an additional story or addition to the footprint of the home. The property owner who will be occupying the home does not anticipate a 3rd vehicle, let alone a 4th car, as the 2nd apartment is only a 1-bedroom. The property owner has also been doing his due diligence and reaching out to direct abutters and has been working with the neighbors who oppose the parking in the rear of the property. For the record, I made an attempt to reach Mr. and Mrs. Joyce, leaving Mrs. Joyce a voicemail on Tuesday, December 20th. I reached out to Mrs. Joyce as she had contacted me on November 22nd in opposition to this application. And given the original plan, as I had stated, I was in opposition. But with the revised plan, I wanted to circle back with the couple to hear any additional concerns they might have had with the new plan, but have not heard anything back as of this writing.
Thank you. Is there any other proponents? Hearing none, I'll close that side of the hearing. Are there any opponents? Anyone opposed? Please step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record.
My name is Ron Champeau. I live at 88 Stevens Street. I'm glad to see, of course, that there is no parking in the rear. That was a serious concern of mine. But I don't think this substantially changes the problems that I'm fearful of. Cars, if you go up there, there are several cars that are now parking, not anywhere near where they should be parking because there's too much parking. They're parking down the street. And today they got vans parking down the street right near where I live. And I think this, by just putting in the one spot will not help us in that area. All that's going to be is detrimental. I do not believe, I can see it, and I see it all over the city. This is like a watershed event. When you see, especially in ward, within the ward that we live in, it's, we keep on changing. We keep the law says 4 parking spots. That's what it should be, 4 parking spots. You get one apartment, and that, isn't going to be 1 car. It's going to be 2 cars. We see it on the street all the time. We see it all over the city. So we got to make a stand. This is not only Stevens Street. This is Augusta Street. This is all the streets that are near us. We have to stand and we got to say, no, we need the 4th spot. That's what the rules say, 4 spots. And that's the only way, that I think we could realistically accept this proposal. I think anything else would be detrimental to the neighborhood. It doesn't enhance us at all. It doesn't increase the value of our homes. It will decrease the value of our homes. So I'm asking you to use wisdom. Use wisdom for the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good evening. Richard Joyce from Newman & Newman, 1 McKinley Square in Boston, Massachusetts. I represent the owners, Richard and Christine Joyce, at 178 Grover Street, which is located approximately 3 houses down. What you need to know here is look at the full picture. This house was purchased for $540,000. It is assessed at $521,000. Zillow and Redfin have it rated between $580,000 and $680,000. Your own regulations, 17.52.020, the power to hear and grant appeals. The applicant must demonstrate that there is a specific shape, topography, or other land or structures affecting this property. They must show that there is a substantial hardship, financial or otherwise. Well, there's been zero evidence of a financial hardship. In fact, they're ahead of the game. They purchased the property for $540,000. On that very day, they had a purchase money mortgage from a hard money lender for $565,000. Ray Green is a hard money lender. There is not sufficient parking in the neighborhood. There is multiple vehicles parked in the street. In fact, if you look up and down that street, there are multiple residents that have a single family and one parking spot. So there's parking on the street. They have 2- and 3-car families. So there is already a parking congestion. This will potentially devalue multiple properties in the neighborhood. So given that, in fact, we're looking at a devaluation, this is a substantial detriment to multiple homeowners in the area. This does not help the public good. There is no public good that comes from adding a second family here. There's no demonstrative need for a 2-family here. It's a traditional 1-family neighborhood. Yes, there are a couple of 2 families, but this has been a long time 1-family neighborhood. My clients have resided there since 1980, and this should not be granted. There is just no need to grant this. There's no substantial encumbrance on that property. So 1 family, there's plenty of parking for the 1 family, and that's how it should remain.
Thank you. Are there any other opponents? Anyone else wish to speak? Hearing none, I'll close that side of the hearing. Any members wish to speak? What's the will of the members? A motion to approve? There's a motion on the floor to approve. Is it seconded? Anyone second it? No one wishing to second it? You don't need a second? Okay. There's a motion on the floor. I'd ask for a roll call, please.
Shall the ZBA grant the relief requested for 57 Stevens Street? Mr. Lemonna?
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Lopes?
At this moment with the parking situation, we've never granted a variance for parking, I'd have to say no.
No. Mr. O'Brien?
No.
I'm sorry, Mr. Pelton?
No.
Excuse me. No. Mr. O'Brien?
No.
No. And Chairman Tucker?
Yes.
Yes, the variance request fails. Variance denied.
Next calendar item number?
Application A2231, Robert Mahoney, 2 Paul Street, Revere, Mass., requesting a variance of Section 17-24010, minimum lot frontage of 80 feet, to enable the appellant to construct a single-family dwelling on lots 142 and 144 Morris Street, and a single-family dwelling on lots 146 and 148 Morris Street, Revere, Mass.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, I am here before the board and requesting the variance for, as Ashley just suggested. And I'm looking to get relief. These lots
Okay,
here.
before we start, could you state your name and address for the record,
Yeah,
please?
Robert Mahoney, 2 Paul Street, Revere, North Revere. These lots here, the requirements, on Lot A, the requirement for lots size is 8,000. We have over 10,000 square feet. The lot area frontage requires 80 feet. I have 71 and a half feet on the front. Front side, I have, rear yard set is 30. I have 72 feet. Lot coverage is 30%, I have 74%. And these two lots here are the two largest lots in the neighborhood. The majority of the homes on the street are two families, sitting on less than 4,000 square feet with less than 50-foot frontage as well. And I just think this would not be a detriment to the neighborhood for allowing this to happen. So I ask for your vote for that.
Seeing that this is a public hearing, I will ask if there's any other proponents, anyone else in favor? Do we have anyone on file?
Not as a proponent, no.
Okay.
One last thing, I think there was a letter submitted by the city planner regarding a meeting that we had. All right, well, I'll wait for that after.
I can read it into the record if you'd like, have it read into the record if you'd like.
Yeah, I'll wait on that.
Okay. Are there any other proponents? Seeing and hearing none, I'll close that side of the hearing. Any opponents? Anyone opposed? Seeing and hearing none, I'll close that side of the hearing. Members, you,
Let me,
okay.
Councilor Serino's letter. Councilor Serino submitted a letter in opposition to Mr. Mahoney's request for a variance of section 1724.010, minimum lot frontage of 80 feet, to enable the appellant to construct a single-family dwelling on lots 142 and 144 Morris Street, and a single-family dwelling on lots 146 and 148 Morris Street. Mr. Mustafa Fadouli, who spoke at the ZBA meeting of November 30th, was absolutely correct in his reports of intensive flooding that occurs at the vicinity of Breedens Lane, Bennett Street, Linehurst Street, and Morris Street. Until such time that the city of Revere, local builders, and property owners can come up with some sort of understanding on how to permanently remediate this dangerous situation, and how, if at all, new homes in the area will further complicate and impact this pooling of water, we should not be moving forward with further development in this immediate vicinity.
Okay, could we read in Frank Stringy's letter to the file, please?
To Chairman Tucker, to further clarify the resolution of the drainage issue on Breedens Lane, please be advised that the City Engineering Department has approved a stormwater management plan and design of an offline retention area on property owned by Roseland off of Breedens Lane that would resolve the ongoing drainage problem at the low point of Breedens Lane in front of 216 Breedens Lane. This plan has been agreed to by all parties, and attached is the easement agreement and easement plan. This office will be following up with Marshall Tyker from Roseland to sign this agreement so this plan can be implemented. Please see email below to Marshall following a meeting held last week in the mayor's office. Also be advised that the two house lots that Bob Mahoney is proposing on the lower end of Morris Street will not impact the current drainage on Breedens Lane, as they are at a lower elevation that does not contribute to stormwater in this catchment area.
Thank you. Are there any members wish to speak?
Yeah, so you're in agreement with Frank to mediate the flooding area? Okay.
We're in agreement with Roseland Development and the city of Revere, city engineer, DPW, mayor of Brian Arrigo, and the homeowners.
Great, that's great. That's great. That's the way it should be done.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve? Yes. I'd ask for a roll call, please.
Shall the zoning board of appeals grant the relief requested for Morris Street? Mr. Lemonna?
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Lopes? Yes, Mr. Pelton? Yes, Mr. O'Brien? Yes, and Chairman Tucker? No, the variance has been granted. Next application is Anna Betancourt, 200 Broadsound Avenue, Revere, Mass., requesting a special permit from the Zoning Board of Appeals in accordance with Section 1740.040 to enable the appellant to modify and extend a nonconforming single-family structure by constructing a 255-square-foot addition at 200 Broadsound Avenue.
Is the applicant present? Please step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record.
Hello, my name is Anna Betancourt, and I live at 200 Broadsound Avenue here in Revere.
Do you wish to add anything, or this speaks for itself?
Well, it does speak by itself, but it is not that we are trying we wanted to build a new addition, it's that the addition was there. Probably when I bought the house, probably was non-conforming, I don't know. But what we did was including a part of the building that was not covered, and the water was getting inside the basement. And when we did was when we redone the kitchen, because the floor was what can I say, the floor and structure was falling because of so many years of water going inside underneath. We had to do the whole thing again. And when we did that, we expanded and covered that area where the water was going inside the basement. That's what we did.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other proponents? Anyone else in favor? Seeing and hearing none, I'll close that side of the hearing. We do have correspondence from the ward councilor that she's in favor of this. Am I correct?
She never sent anything.
However, she did speak to me on the phone, so I will take that she did say that she has no issues with this. Any opponents? Are there any opponents? Seeing and hearing none, I'll close that side of the hearing. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
I would ask for a roll call.
Shall the zoning board of appeals grant the relief by issuing a special permit for 200 Broadsound Avenue? Mr. Lemonna?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Lopes? Yes. Mr. Pelton?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Yes. And Chairman Tucker?
Yes.
Yes, the special permit has been granted. There's no further
Having no
business.
further business, I would like to wish everyone on behalf of the board and Ashley a very healthy and happy new year. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.